Hey everybody, this is Mike Anderson with Collision Advice. I'm here with my great friend Danny with the DEG, and we're working with SCRS to bring you a series of quick tips that will help you to boost your business. Hello everybody, today we're going to talk about battery disconnects. Now, you know, it's not uncommon for collision repairers to have to disconnect a battery for a variety of reasons. Maybe, for example, you have a door removed from a vehicle for paint and you disconnect the battery because you don't want the battery to run down. Maybe we're welding on a vehicle and we have to disconnect the battery before we actually perform welding. So there are a lot of reasons why we need to disconnect batteries. But here's what I'll talk to you about today. That is number one, before you ever disconnect a battery, go into the OEM repair procedures and find out if there is a battery wait time. You heard me correctly. Sometimes the vehicle has to be turned off and we have to wait a certain amount of time before we disconnect the battery. So make sure you're waiting, because if you don't, it's going to throw a lot of DTCs. Now here's the next thing. Almost every single OEM that I've worked with, now I'm not saying all, I'm saying most every single one, and their OEM repair procedures, they have a section or an area that says procedures required when the battery is disconnected and reconnected. Ladies and gentlemen, I worked on a Toyota recently that when I disconnected the battery and reconnected, there were 6 different procedures I needed to do. Most of those were called initializations, and 2 of those things required a test drive. I had a Nissan recently that I wrote an estimate on, and guess what it did? It said when I disconnected the battery and reconnected it, guess what? There were 11 procedures I needed to do when I reconnected the battery, and 3 of those required the use of a scan tool. So when it comes to disconnecting batteries, understand it's not just about disconnecting the battery, it's about following the OEM repair procedures on how long we have to wait after we turn the vehicle off. And it's also, ladies and gentlemen, about what initializations or procedures need to be returned or performed after the battery is connected. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may be asking, are these things included or not included? So Danny, if we have to disconnect the battery for welding or to replace a door, is that included or not included?
It's a great question, Mike. The process is not included. And if you are considering that process, you also want to consider how many times in the repair process you're going to be performing that procedure. Again, you may be performing it during the disassembly stage. You may have to reconnect it to move the vehicle around the shop. During the next repair process, then you may have to disconnect it again, and then again, reconnect it to move it around the shop again. So when you account for the disconnect and reconnect of batteries, think about how many times in the repair stage you are going to disconnect and reconnect it, and then again following the initialization procedures or the scan tool resets associated with that. It's a not included operation, and also make sure you follow the factory recommended procedures in which order you're disconnecting the cables to prevent any further damage.
Great insights from Danny. So ladies and gentlemen, remember, it's not just about disconnecting the battery. It's researching the wait time and what procedures are required when the battery is reconnected. We hope you got some value out of this tip today. Thanks for joining us.